Well, good morning, class. The last time that we were together, we began an introduction into paradigms of instruction. We had considered the incidental model and the skills direct model. This morning, I want to begin with the interactive model. It's a process model. And I want to first start out with some basic concepts that underpin the interactive model. There are three that I will speak about. Functional teaching, simplifying cognitive processes, and simulation. What do we mean by functional teaching? In the interactive model, what we want to do is teach reading skills and content simultaneously. That is, skills do not need to be taught separately from the curriculum, nor do we need a separate classroom. So we don't need a specialist coming into the building to teach our classes. What we can do as good content area specialists is integrate reading skills along with our content. That is, we teach reading functionally as a part of our regular curriculum. That's a significant concept with this interactive model. Different from the skills model, where we identify skills that are important to our particular content area, teach those skills separately, and then hope for transfer when the skills are needed by kids. For example, let me give you a comparison and contrast between these two types of perspectives. Let's say we had from a skills orientation, you were a good social studies teacher. You told yourself, well, reading is a significant part of my curriculum. Students still use textbooks in class. They certainly use library resources. So what I'm going to do as a good content area specialist, coming from a skill-centered type of model, I'm going to identify those reading skills that are important to my content area as a social studies teacher. Now, those reading skills may be different for a science teacher or for a math teacher or for an English teacher. So as a social science teacher, or social studies teacher, I'm going to find those skills that are important to my teaching. Then I'm going to set some time aside in my very, very busy curriculum and then teach those skills directly to the kids, give them many examples of how those skills would be used in social studies. And then as we move through the quarter or the semester, the kids would use those skills as they did library work, as they use their textbook. In contrast, an interactive model would suggest or would flow like this. The content determines the need for a particular skill. It's the content that's the driving force behind the need for a particular skill as it's used by kids. Let me give you an example of what I mean by that. Let's say you're a social studies teacher and you have this textbook in front of you. And here we are in Chapter 2. And in Chapter 2, there are many graphs and charts. The content information there is telling you, hey, good teacher, now is the appropriate time to review and or teach the reading of graphs and charts because the content determines or says that this is the appropriate time to teach graphs and charts. In other words, we're looking at it functionally. The content says, now's the time to do this, and so we teach skills, reading skills, and content simultaneously. Okay? That's what we mean by functional teaching. Another part of, or another concept, another underpinning of the